Welcome back to Commission Reviews, the queen of reality TV. And I got a handsome Storm is in. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Wait a minute. I just realized that your name is Storm. So let me go ahead and.
Oh, I like that little rain effect. I didn't know you could do that.
I had to do it. I had to do it. The storm is here, but the storm is probably mostly going to be me and not happy the storm is here. But let me get started with the question. Let me start by saying, looking back, do you have any regrets engaging in the showmance? Showmance has been around since Big Brother, literally, and they call it death sentence. Not necessarily, depends on how you play it. But when I watched you guys were so organic, like, oh, okay, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I'll say myself. Now, respond.
No. It's okay. I've gotten that question a couple of times already.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I don't think the showmance was a huge threat to anybody, because if you think about it, me and MG weren't exactly huge threats, right? Like, I was sandbagging a lot of my competitions for strategy because I thought everybody's already gunning for me just because they thought I was a physical threat. Yes. And MG was just kind of riding the middle line anyway. So what I was hoping for, and I think might have worked, I don't really know, hard to say, was that they would just kind of look at us like this cute little thing going on the side, and they would focus on real threats in the game, which would allow us to kind of slip through a bunch of the competitions scot-free. Hard to say that happened, but because our showmance wasn't exactly David and Poverty, right? Like, that's a duo right there. And although we don't know Australian survivor David, who he is yet, we know Poverty. Like, almost the whole cast knows Poverty. And we know David's this 6'5" super muscular guy. So like, I see them as a dangerous duo. And frankly, not an official showmance, but they're pretty close with each other. I see that as more of a threat than anything that me and MG did.
So in these type of games, showmances are a threat because you come one. I get what you're saying. Okay, the family or whatever, you guys had a real organic, to me, situation. So I feel like for people like even Will's come from Big Brother, he knows how showmances are, especially if you're into each other. It's like you're one person, so then you become a threat because you're gonna look out for each other regardless of what. Poverty and him, I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I think you gotta look out for each other more. They would sacrifice each other to get to the win. I'm just gonna be honest with it. So you see, that's kind of a difference there. So do you not think that it impacted your individual game? I know MG is still there, but do you think that now that you've had a little reflection, that's gonna impact her game? I guess is the question also I want to ask you.
I mean, I don't see it affecting her game too much either, because, you know, I'm gone now, so her showmance is over. And what we had both agreed to, which, you know, of course the camera didn't catch, we were pitching to our individual teams that we were like a double agent. That we were like, yeah, we're having showmance, and it was, you know, generally the feelings and the fun were real, but we were using it to gain information. And I already had proved that to my alliance, because they didn't really know MG was part of theirs yet. Like, the camera shows it and they kind of just blend it all together. But our understanding was it was David, Poverty, and Dixon. MG ended up telling me that she was also in that alliance. I told my alliance, and that kind of gained a little bit more security with them. So okay. I was trying to go double agent a little bit.
No, I got you. So I need to ask you about Dixon, because I got a few about Dixon. So do you think that Dixon was taking things personal when it came to you? And the reason why I say that is because watching it, you didn't see anything malice. I've watched reality TV, do this for a long time. I just didn't catch it. Like, I'm getting old. This is my old age. But honestly, the reason why I say is because one of the things he kept pointing out was things his dad said about him. You know, you're awkward, all these things. And no shade, Storm, you are a gorgeous man. You're not awkward. You're generally just an organic, nice guy. You could just tell, you know. You were about to experience, as you stated, as you left. So comparing that, he kept staring. Now, that might be a camera just doing that, but I felt like every time I kept watching it, he kept staring at you, even with MG. You just by yourself. I just think it was intimidation there. What do you think about that?
I think that could have potentially played a factor, right? I do think that there's this general kind of like comfortability I had with the girls on the island that he didn't necessarily love. But I'm really glad you brought that up, because it completely slipped my mind. It was not caught on camera. Dixon had come up to me at one point and been like, Han, you know, like, I wish I could talk to people like you do. I wish that, you know, people had the relationships that they have with you. And I looked at him. This was another reason why I was shocked that he kicked me off. I looked at him and I was like, Dixon, everybody here enjoys your presence. Everybody here smiles when you walk by. Everybody laughs. Everybody giggles. I think you're a really great guy, and I think you should stop selling yourself so short. And he looked at me and he was like, do you really mean that? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, thank you. Like, that means the world to me. And then he blindsides me and just
No.
triple that night.
No.
I mean, so many things happened that just never made sense to me. But, you
But
know,
this is why I said, even in my other question, I said, do you think there was some envy over your position? Following up of what you just stated, I think that when you were in the house, when you watch it outside looking in, it just seemed like you was there. You were playing the game, but you wasn't playing as hard as Dixon. And I feel like Dixon was watching everybody, but especially you. Not necessarily with you and MG. He was watching that, but he was watching you. And I think it was an envy there. I didn't catch it until I heard him say somebody's father. And I was like, wait a minute. And everybody keeps calling him awkward. I don't know. I felt like it was an envy. What do you think?
I definitely think that there was probably a little bit of envy there. And I also think that, yeah, like you're saying, I was hanging out, I was having a good time with the girls, and Dixon was just focused on winning the game because he proved he knows deal or no deal by like identifying case girls by name and choosing their case numbers they used to have in the old game. So I think that like him looking at the game thinking this is what he's supposed to be doing, and then me kind of like screwing around, sort of sandbagging my competitions, laughing, having a good time.
Right.
I think that sort of probably created some animosity between us.
So Will to me is the biggest threat in the house, along with Poverty. But Will, I guess right now, why do you think that you was even a target? I mean, it didn't. I don't know. It just didn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. I just was curious. What do you think? You was in the house. Will was a target, wasn't he not? I know he got immunity. I get that, but was he not the target?
So Will ultimately, I think, to like a larger group of people was the target, right? I think
Okay.
everybody was like, Will's been on Big Brother. He is somebody we need
Right.
to go for. I think that the general audience thought that, generally cast
Mhm.
consensus was that they need to get to Will. But I didn't really see Poverty or Will or some of these like people that everybody else saw as physical threats, social threats as threats. I saw them as allies because if I'm telling everybody,
Mm.
hey, those people are physically a huge threat, those people are socially really good, so they should be watched. I'm also kind of saying, hey, I should be watched, right? Like I
Okay.
stand back to competitions, but everybody was telling me while I was there, you look like you could do a bunch of stuff. And so with that same mindset, I wanted to kind of change the shift of the people that I was working with to instead of looking at them as threats, looking at allies, because unfortunately, I feel like if I was pushing that narrative, eventually it would turn on me.
Gotcha.
I tried to push that they were a good thing, but
No, no, I think you played a nice game, and I
yeah.
mean, you were maybe a little too nice, Storm. I just feel like genuinely, genuinely you said we was having a good time. I didn't see like, ooh, I'm trying to get. It just seemed like you was having a good time. To be honest, I feel like you were more sad leaving MG than you was the game. I don't know. That's the way I looked at when I saw you leaving. I was like, ugh. Okay, so I want to ask you about the final shot you took, and MG, sorry, came in, massaged your shoulders, and you said you didn't think that anything affected that, but he was staring at you at that moment because the camera flashed over, and so was everybody else, and you're still saying you don't think the showmance affected your games.
It's funny. Again, that's another great point. I never really looked at that one scene so closely because the camera doesn't do a great job and the production of it doesn't do a great job
Right.
explaining it. But me and Dixon were the last two people to hit the axe, and he'd hit it right before me. And everybody went crazy, and it was a big thing, and it was a big scene. And then I did it right after MG had showed my shoulders, and then it was an even bigger thing. So you know what? You actually have a pretty good point there. That might have been partly where he started to think maybe I should start targeting Storm.
I think he was already looking at you before that. To be honest. Just I saw him staring, and when you said he was awkward, he was already targeted. I'm gonna be honest personally, but I think that when she came over and massaged your shoulders and all things that, and then when you kind of was the hero because this is the thing about it. When he threw it, they gave a little roar. When you threw it, roar. So think about all these steps. He's looking at like not the game. This guy's a threat to me. Period. Like he act like he's in high school and you just you're the quarterback on the team that's like making him look back. That's the way I was looking at it, how I break stuff down in my head. I don't know how. Well, I guess because you were in it, you didn't see it. I guess I can understand that.
Yeah.
But let me ask you about the family. The family to me, are they running the house in your opinion?
They're not really running the house, right? Like Poverty, everybody knows that Poverty's a super good player, but nobody really knows or what she's doing on the side. The camera catches a lot of things she's talking about and a lot of things that she's saying, but I don't know how much full control she has over the game with David.
Okay.
Philip has a pretty good pulse on everything. He's got in with a lot of people right now at this moment. He keeps getting these really good cases. People are seeing him as a big threat, but Dr. Will became the immediate biggest thing that everyone was looking at. And so a lot of people had the opportunity there to kind of make some smaller moves and start to manipulate. And you'll see a lot of that played out in this next episode. While everybody's looking at Will as like, hey, we just got to get
right. Do you think that the deal that Will made with CJ affected your game? Change things up
with CK? I mean,
yeah.
Not a whole lot. Like I actually wanted to use that as leverage, right? Because this allowed me and Will to have a common enemy. Because I didn't want to go up and play the banker. The game was good. So I was like, all right, Will, you want CK out. I don't want to go up play the banker. I don't want to get eliminated. Let's convince Dixon to go up, and that CK was always gunning for him. So we're both winning in the scenario. Because then you can get CK out without putting her up. That was your deal. Dixon, who's not really on our alliance, as collateral. I like him, but like he's not that important to me. He can go up and potentially lose, and then everybody wins. Blood hands.
Okay. Wow. You said let's protect Dixon. I wanted to know why.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people caught up on that. Dixon was just like making so many good moves. And I was like, oh,
he was.
He's a lucky charm. We gotta watch out for this guy. He's clearly getting us a lot of money. At that time, of course, I thought Dixon was not going to eliminate me, but
yep. He just literally told you in your face. I'm just like, I don't get it. I think he was targeted. I think his target was you the entire time. I'm telling you, it just was like he had opportunity to do. Everybody else, he even betrayed Will to get you out. If you think about it, he betrayed Will to get you out. He wanted you out pretty bad because Will's gonna come for him. I know Will. He's gonna come for him. So I'm just like, I didn't understand. I just don't understand any of that. Do you have any regrets? That's my final question. Do you have any? I don't think you do, but I just have to ask. Now that you're out of the house, and because you kind of got a blindside, what we call in social and reality TV world, you got blindsided. So with that being said, do you have any regrets now?
You know, looking back on it, everything that Dixon screwed me on, frankly, like which is a lot of things. I wouldn't change anything, right? Like I wouldn't tell Dixon to lose and not win the $5 million so that I could stay in, because even though Dixon, you know, fucked me over.
Yes, he did. Why is Storm frozen? No! Wi-Fi is just, well. Oh, wait, he's back. That's so funny. The sad thing, this happened before. I had been on live with CBS down to the I don't know what, and I've had a whole live crash on me. It's nothing. Trust me, it's nothing. Okay, so go ahead, babe. You good? Go ahead.
So yeah, ultimately, what I was just talking about a second ago, no regrets, right? I loved the game I played. I wish there was more airtime to show kind of how I was trying to sandbag the first few competitions, find myself in alliance, and then start ramping up. But, you know, I got at least to explain how my mindset was going to episode 4. And I wouldn't take back the game that Dixon played. Right, $5 million is one of the greatest games of Deal or No Deal ever played.
Yeah, it was no lie. It was really
Dixon's eyes were lit up like Christmas, and so it was clearly a really important thing to him, and he's going to remember for the rest of his life. So, although it came at my expense, I mean that was special. So I don't want to rip that from his hands, even if that's not really the point.
Oh my goodness, he made me like you more. Well, see, Storm, I really wish you back on because I'm telling you, I was thinking in my head, I want to see a showman's actually see how far y'all can go, not knowing that it was gonna be over before the episode. I was looking forward to it. And I saw the breakfast. I was like, oh my God, I'm excited. So well, I'm sorry, I lied. One more question. You and MG, and I'm just asking this. People do fall in love with you guys, and I think it was because of the fact you guys really were like, it looked really organic. And I think that's why people were like, oh my God, I think they are. And y'all weren't being like weird or too much. It was just right. So I know you don't have any regrets about that, but can I, well, maybe I can't get the information now. Maybe you tell me later. Tell me, come back after. Don't do it now. I forgot where I'm at. Come back later and answer that question. I'm not even going to ask you. You know I'm going to ask you, but answer for me the next interview because I want you to come back because I want to do a follow-up and talk to you about MG. So I'm just going to wait on that.
Sounds good.
With that being said, guys, I'm so happy to have Storm up here, and he's gorgeous, by the way. I know he's gorgeous, okay? And he's so sweet. Oh my God, he reminded me of Superman before.
Superman, black hair.
Bro, like Superman. You know how to cut the God, Clark when he was young. You know, like the guy the country. You remind me of that, like literally. Like it's a compliment. Trust me, it is. I'm not saying it like really well.
Thank you so much.
Oh my God. With that being said, I'm about to get out for here. I thank you guys for joining me today with Storm. I enjoyed talking to him. He is awesome. I'm sad, but it is what it is. That being said, it's Commission Reviews.